Yeah, we're happy to be here. My name is Caitlin McClavey. I'm at Clean Lakes Alliance as our watershed programs manager, which means that I get the lovely privilege of doing all of our kind of education and outreach endeavors that we have, our restoration events that we do, our speaker series that we do, all of our water quality monitoring that we do. So going out in the public and just kind of sharing with folks like you all about different ways that you can get involved and just learning about the lakes that we have here in the space. For those that are unaware, Clean Lakes Alliance, we're a local nonprofit here in town. Our offices are just right down the road, actually. We're in the Virex Plaza building, that big black angular building right by James Madison Park. So literally we're just like right down the road from you all here. Our offices are kindly donated to us. So we don't have that lake view that we're not paying for it, which is very, very, very nice. But you all have a gorgeous facility here. This is like incredible and a great view of the lakes that we have. We're a local nonprofit, and our goal is a community renowned for its healthy lakes, lands, and waters. So what does that mean? Lots of different things. And so we'll go through all of that today about how we're working to achieve a community renowned for its healthy lakes, lands, and waters. Different things that we're doing as an organization, like I said, and ways for you all to get involved as well. So our lakes are like an incredibly wonderful asset that we have here, just like in our backyard, right? Is everybody kind of from the Madison area, I would take it? Any out of towners at all? No. Okay, great. So these really rich cultural assets that we have here in our backyard, I threw up this photo here of the dugout canoes that were found. Did everybody hear about the dugout canoes? Yeah. So they found quite a few of them at this point. I think there are over a dozen of them, with the oldest one being at least 4,000 years old, which is so cool to think about, and that there's been people along these shores for thousands and thousands of years. This place here that we have, our greater lakes that we have, and when I talk about the Yahara Watershed, which is the area that we focus on for Clean Lakes Alliance, I'm talking about Lakes Mendota, Monona, Wingra, Wabeesa, and Kaganza is the Yahara River Watershed. So that's our scope of practice. But these places that we have here in this map that I have is all of the effigy mounds that are located around the lakes here. This area here, the Yahara River Watershed that we have and the lakes that we have, has some of the highest, if not the highest, concentration of effigy mounds in North America, just around these lakes that we have here, which is an incredibly cool fact that we can talk about. And so you see this map here, the effigy mound distribution throughout the state. You'll notice that a lot of these follow water, whether rivers or lakes. And then this map here, this one on the right-hand side there, it's a little tricky to see, but you see that Grant County and Dane County there have the highest concentrations in the state of Wisconsin. Like I said, our chain of lakes, ones that are around the lakes that we have here, rivals anywhere in North America, which is such a cool thing to think about. And when people oftentimes think about the lakes, they really are thinking about them and experiencing them from the surface level, right? A lot of times, has anybody been diving in our lakes before, gone underneath the surface? Yeah, right. Yeah. So when I usually ask that question, it's usually not a lot of people. But our lakes, obviously everything that's going on in them, these are these depths that have all kinds of things that are happening in them that are obviously going to impact how we recreate on the lakes, the way we think about the lakes. And so kind of going beyond the surface, obviously, is really where our lakes lie. So our Yahara River Watershed that we have here, I have a map, like I said, which will kind of show you the scope and the scale of which our work kind of is focused on. And so, like I said, we have those 5 lakes for the Yahara River Watershed: Mendota, Monona, Wingra, Wabeesa, and Kaganza. Collectively, about 29 square miles of lake surface, which is pretty impressive. 66 miles of lakeshore, half of which are in public ownership, either through the university or a municipality or maybe the state government. But over half of our lakeshore is accessible to the public, which is really cool too, because oftentimes when people think about our lakes, sometimes there's this perception that it's like kind of like a rich person's play space and that it's not accessible to the community. But at least half of our stuff is in public ownership, which is great. Our watershed here, you can see this whole outline on our map here is the whole drainage area that's going to fall into those lakes. So you'll hear me talk about watershed a lot. What's a watershed? It's the whole land base that water is eventually going to kind of settle into. Everybody lives in some sort of watershed, and then our watersheds get really bigger. They can go smaller. They're all nesting within each other. So our Yahara River watershed here ties into the Rock River watershed, which ties into Wisconsin River, which ties into Mississippi River, and so all of this water keeps going somewhere. But like I said, for the sake of Clean Lakes Alliance, our scope here is just Yahara River watershed. But you'll notice on this map here, maybe you can see, so the purple area here is the urban area, and the rest, especially the northern part of our watershed, is very agricultural. Incredibly agricultural. We have a